Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're looking at another episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's bouncing with me tonight?
Hi, I'm Dominic. I am the co-host of Dissonant Waves on YouTube, a music podcast. I'm also on the Overblood Facebook group, and I've been on this show several times now.
Yes.
And hey, Commander Lionheart, again.
Because we're here to talk about a game that involved one of your favorite characters, Emanuel, so you had to come back.
Sure. Favorite characters.
Yeah, Dominic Cross.
Yeah.
I mean, technically we're talking about a game with Sora. When Sora becomes 19 in Kingdom Hearts eventually, this is what he's going to look like, right?
God, I hope not, but sure.
We are here to talk about The Bouncer. Published by Squaresoft, developed by developed by Square and Dream Factory, published by Square and Sony, and then it came out in 2001 for PS2, and that's it. Never came out again.
In North America, December 2000 in Japan.
Good.
Okay. So I actually have a history with the game. The reason the game's on the show is because back in the day when PS2 first came out, my buddy had gotten one pretty early on, and he'd gotten this, and he gotten Animusha. And then he was also staying at my house for, I think, maybe 2 weeks or so, because his parents were went out of state or something on vacation, so he was staying with me. And I remember we played a bunch of this and Animusha. We could not finish Animusha, but this game has always stuck with me ever since then. And I played it we played it back then, and then when I was a few years later, maybe even 2 years at most, it was my freshman year in high school, and I graduated in 06, so whatever year that would be. And I bought it, I beat it, and haven't played it since then. I've been trying to get this game in the show since the show started, but it wasn't really an option because people didn't have a copy of this, and we couldn't emulate PS2, so we never got around to it. And now it finally happened as a mini because I didn't want to waste an episode number on this. So
You would have in the beginning, but not anymore.
I have so many other ways to make things now that it's like I can just throw it in some other version and get it out there.
That's just one of the alternate endings that could happen. We went down the 2022 Mike Albertin route, but had we gone down the 2019 route, it'd be a lot different.
And Dominic, what is any history you have with this game?
I bought it. I think I was like one of those games, like it was in that era, I think, of like Family Video when they were selling off their collection of like games. I think I bought a copy back then for like $5, and I played a little bit of it, found it to be too hard, eventually sold it, and bought it back for this recording.
Okay. What about you, Emanuel? Any history with it?
Absolutely not. I only know about this game, one, because if I remember correctly, I think that Game Informer did an episode of replay of The Bouncer.
I believe so. That sounds right.
And also because the Overblood group has mentioned it a couple times. But other than that, I had never played it. I had never actually seen gameplay of it or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, I think somewhat a Giant Bomb. I think Jan Ochoa, maybe a Giant Bomb, is a fan of it, so they played it on the site somewhere, and I probably saw that, But that'd be my only other exposure to it.
And I've been championing this game for a while with you. Anyone that I meet, I'm like, have you played The Bouncer?
Oh, God.
I've been always pushing this game. Like, you have no idea. So one thing about me that anyone listening to the show knows, once I beat a game, I don't pick it back up. I mean, this game is short as hell. It's only an hour and a half playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
If that, like, you can beat this game quick.
Assuming you just go the one route.
But that's,
Exactly.
this game is a beat 'em up, which is also kind of odd, but it's very much just mainly cutscenes. I mean, this game is just full of beautiful FMV cutscenes that still look good in 2022.
So many cutscenes. I thought I was playing Metal Gear.
That's not a bad thing.
Though.
It's the game's style.
I like it. I still like it. I'm actually going to I was going to replay it again before this episode because I beat it with code. I was going to play it again as Sion, but I didn't have time because I was sleeping.
Yeah, so I just beat it for the stream, and that's it.
I got every ending, got all these secret characters. I did everything that I possibly could.
Nice. back in the day when I didn't have that many games, when I played as my freshman year of high school, I was in the process of trying to get everybody to S rank, and I was almost there.
It's not that hard.
Well, it is for a couple characters. Like there's Wong was hard because you have to keep beating the game with Sion. You only get the one fight with him to rank him up.
Wait, well, what do you mean?
He's a secret fight at the very end after you play through with Sion.
Right, but you can't get him up to S rank. You can only get the 3 up to S rank, right?
No, you can level up the enemies up to S rank too.
How?
You keep fighting them.
What?
The more you fight, the more you play through the game in repeat playthroughs, because this game has like a new game plus thing. As you fight enemies, they rank up too after a while.
That's crazy. What? I didn't even... God.
It only affects versus mode and stuff, and that's why I did it. But in my versus mode at the time, if you look, people were all like S rank and stuff.
Okay, so I didn't do everything, but I did upgrade Sion, Volt, and Co to S rank and got all the unlocks.
That's enough. I just couldn't. Back in the day, I couldn't stop playing this game. I don't know why. I think it's because I didn't have many games or something. I don't know. I just couldn't stop.
That could be a very logical explanation, Mike.
I really liked it. I mean, I think the graphics are still beautiful. Like the cutscenes are amazing. I think.
Beautiful is a stretch. It looks good, but like,
beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
And like
that's what we're looking for.
This isn't a knock against the graphical style, because Square Enix games look really good on the PS2, but beautiful is a stretch just for what they're going for. Because like let's be real here. This is knockoff Midgar. With knockoff Sion. With
knockoff Sora essentially now, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, knockoff Sora. My bad. I'm tired. Like this might as well be a Final Fantasy VII short story.
Mm-hmm.
It would make so much more sense if it was like,
or Final Fantasy VIII.
I mean, yeah. I feel like the setting of Edge is Midgar like, but 8 characters would work so much better than Cloud and Vincent.
I have a lot of nostalgia for this game, so I know I'm talking. Part of it is talking out of my ass because I have rose-colored glasses on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm well aware of that, but I mean, I even like the combat a lot. I mean, the combat's pretty basic at first. You do beat 'em up section, but they're all short. They're all less than probably 90 seconds for most of them, and then you get back into cutscenes. Which
I like. I like cutscenes. Give me more cutscenes.
I do too.
You would love Xenosaga, Mike.
One day, Xenosaga. Oh, you're talking about the ones from PS2?
Yes.
That's my biggest disappointment of a PS2 game, but that I need to go back and replay it.
Disappointment in what way?
I bought it when it first came out. I was hoping because I love Xenogears, and it wasn't. I didn't like the gameplay of it.
It is not Xenogears. Legally, it is not Xenogears.
But this is also back in what year did that come out?
2002, I believe. Yeah, 2003.
Yeah, so that mic was not the mic. I mean, someday I'm going to go back and replay it.
There's an interesting conversation. There's an interesting conversation to have with series that I would love to have with people.
One day.
Yes, one day.
Long, so one day.
Those games are long.
The first one is about 40 hours. The second one's about 20. The third one's about 30 to 40.
That's doable. I mean, as long as I plan right, that's doable for the show.
I played these games a couple times. I was a little obsessed with Once Upon a Time.
I mean, it's Xenosaga I bought for $50 right when it first came out, and still have never actually played it that far. So it's on my list. One day. But with this game, like with Bouncer, it's just just something about the style of it. Like before I played it, I was actually nervous to replay it for the show because I waited until I didn't start this till Thursday night. We record this on Saturday morning because I was busy playing another game for the show.
You played Super Mario Sunshine.
Yes.
A better game.
Yes, objectively a better game.
I had more fun with this.
I did not.
I had enough fun playing this game for 8 hours all the way through several times, seeing all the unlocks. But Mario Sunshine, I would have more fun any day of the week.
I would have been more frustrated with Mario Sunshine, but I would have still had more fun with Mario Sunshine. That's for sure. I love beating the crap out of people in this game. Like I watched the speedrun first, and in the speedrun, because I was a little nervous, he played as Ko, so that's why I ended up just playing as Ko, because I actually like Ko Lifo a lot in this game, one of the 3 characters you can play as.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was younger, I was in Taekwondo, and he has Taekwondo, so that was one reason I liked him as a kid.
Mm.
And he was a smartass, and I was a smartass when I was at this age. So I still
The early 2000s.
So I related more with Colifo than I did with the other characters. So that was the character that I gravitated towards to when I was younger.
You speak about him like you know him personally.
Hey,
we hung out. We got a beer. All that stuff.
A good old Colifo, right up there with Volt Kruger and Sion Barzad.
I like the names of these characters. I like these characters a lot.
Hey, Xenosaga, the main character's name is Shion. I wonder if there's a connection.
No. There's a character in Kingdom Hearts called Shion.
But
We'll get there. Don't worry. We're going to be doing more of those soon. Well, not that soon, but once we dive deep, we're going to be diving deep into that series.
The next one will be a mini of Chain of Memories down the line here.
Yeah.
So
I know one of us won't be there. I'm sure from the sound of this conversation. So
I'm just your guy for the minis, Mike. I feel like I'm like most of them now. I feel like.
Yeah. So just everything with the bouncer. It's kind of a basic game. The combat is. I feel like combat's not that basic because you can hold down. I think it was L1 and do like different moves.
L2?
There's L2. I beat the game 2 days ago. I don't remember.
A thing that I had to look up the controls because I was lazy. It did not tell me.
Yeah. It doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
In controls, it lies to you. It says press the ES button and press the J button.
See, okay, this is my beef with fighting games. They always pull this bullshit. Press the punch and kick button to do a move. It's like, what the fuck is the punch and kick button? Just tell me what it is on the controller. This is not an arcade stick. You don't even have arcade stick support.
So I guess because I had played this so much before, I could look at it and I was able to translate it very quickly and figure out the moves. Because when I used to play this as a kid, I would only upgrade their power, defense, life. Because the thing that attracted me, because this is one of my kicks, is that in this game, as you beat enemies and beat levels, as long as you get the finishing blow as your character you're playing as, you get bouncer points, which are essentially EXP, and then you're able to upgrade your stats, your power, your life, your defense, or you're able to use the bouncer points you get and spend them on abilities. And back in the day, I didn't buy the extra abilities. Now I realize you just find the one you get the most expensive ability you can get at the time, then you're set. So that's it this time.
I bought none of the abilities. So.
You need to. Holy shit.
Oh yeah,
I did not.
Like for Ko, he has an uppercut that I got pretty early on, and that uppercut you can juggle bosses, you can juggle everybody. It's great. Then I got like a 3 kick he did, and that would if I caught a guy off guard, it took him out fast. And I know if you get his final upgrade, which is 7 kicks, you just massacre everybody.
Ko is so hard without that uppercut. It is crazy how hard he is to play without having an uppercut available to you. But once you get it, easily the best character.
Emanuel, who did you play through the game as?
Sion.
Okay.
Sion's not bad. Sion's a good mid-level character.
I like Sion a lot. I think he's a very cool character. I do. I have rose-colored glasses on in this game, and
Jesus.
Look, Sora is cooler than Sion.
And that's saying a lot, considering it's Sora.
I will take Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora. PP Best and Haley Joel Osment is cooler than Sion.
Nope.
Yes.
I want my 19-year-old broody Sion Barzad.
So, okay.
If we're upset because his girlfriend died 2 years ago.
No, hold on. If we're going this route, let's dive deep into this, because I have questions.
I don't.
So, the conceit of this game, they're bouncers, right?
Which
they barely do any bouncing.
How are you getting a 19-year-old to be a bouncer? A.
It gets worse.
B. Why is Dominic like 14 hanging around a bar?
She's a robot.
She's the mascot.
So. Sure, she's a robot, but no one knows that. But that's besides the point. Sion just finds her on the street one day, and whatever happens, and then she really likes him, and he allows it, and they're whatever.
By the way, spoilers, you don't see that until the very end of this goddamn game. God.
Because the story is just nonsense, and it's just throwing different scenes at you and telling most of the backstory through the loading screens, which is something, which I will give it credit for trying something with that. Just giving you random dialogue scenes, like a script, in the loading screens to have something to read. However, those loading screens are pretty fast. So fast, you're not even going to finish reading them.
Yeah, and I read fast. I couldn't finish, but I thought maybe because I was playing this on an emulator that it was loading faster than it would have been normally.
Nope.
But
I got a fat PS2. Yeah, I'm telling you, it is. This is like it's like what's happening now with the PS5 loading games too fast to like see what's ever on the loading screen. That's happening here.
Okay. That's funny though, because I mean, there's so much story. They give you a lot of the backstory of the characters in these little loading screens where you just read text between your character, whoever you pick, and then the other character. And I think that's another thing that this game has, a lot of replay value if you care that you can play through the different characters you'll get some. I mean, a lot of the cutscenes are the same, but some cutscenes will be a little bit different.
Yes.
As you play through, and each character has a different moveset and different ways that they handle.
Yes, more dialogue with Echidna, please. The best character, clearly, even though her moveset sucks to play.
That's because she has that Brazilian art. I forget the name of it, but it's in Tekken. Eddie has it.
Yeah. Shit. What's the name of that? I forget.
I hate it. I hate fighting it in any game.
Capora, something like that.
Yeah. They're also, I mean, most of the levels in this game are all the same, but there's one part where your team gets split up because they fall down a hole because
this is an
Acme cartoon. And depending on who you pick, they have 3 different sections. I only did Koz. I know Koz, he gets disguised as... He is completely
Jesus, this is the worst level of the game.
He gets disguised as a guard, and you have to walk around and then do the same salutes that the guard do, and it gives you a little thing like, oh, press this button if they do this stupid thing. Dude,
thank God I didn't play as Koz.
Yeah, this is blind Simon Says. Like, it tells you, here are the controls, and then you're just thrust out there, and you just got to remember which one is circle, which one is square. And if you fuck up, you're gonna get into a fight, and several fights actually, and you're gonna die, But hey, try and remember which of the 4 commands are which.
It reminded me of Chrono Trigger back in the day when I was doing the Simon Says thing to get the clone.
For whatever reason, that is so much easier to me than wrapping my mind around this. I don't know why.
I didn't have a hard time with it at all.
It was surprisingly difficult for me.
I actually tried to fuck up a few times on purpose because I wanted fights. I wanted experience.
And they really throw it at you too.
You wanted to feel alive, Mike. I get it.
Because like you have guys that will like throw, they will. There's like one guy that cycles through 3 of them and repeatedly, and you have to hit one at the same time that he's doing that one, any of them, to get him to let you through. But it's like it's on a cycle. You just gotta get in with the rhythm of it. Or there's like one where there's like 2 guys and they're going to do 2 different ones. So you got to do both to satisfy them.
Yep, in the right order
like,
too.
Yeah, but it's like who the fuck? What kind of fucking guard company does this?
I mean,
they accost every guard that passes by, hoping that they're not an imposter by making them do random movements.
It's a weird ass game.
That's such a efficient way of telling who's a spy and who's not.
I mean, clearly. The whole story of you're at a bar, special forces break into a bar, steal your girlfriend, I guess.
That's really cringe to say.
I know. I didn't know how young she was and how old CN was until I was watching a video before this episode. I'm like, so we'll get into that. And
14 and 19. There's a 5-year gap there.
I'm not okay with that. Why couldn't he be 17? Like, couldn't they just make Sion 17 and be like, okay, I can...
Because then he couldn't be a bouncer.
I don't think the game would care. They would still make him a bouncer.
There's barely any bouncing.
He doesn't even want to be at work. Like, the first time you see him, he's sitting in the bar and both like, it's your shift. He's like, yeah.
I'm assuming the drinking age is 18. That's the only way any of this makes sense.
Well, it is Japan.
But it's not. It's Edge.
Yeah, but it's Japan games. I think Japan is different with alcohol than we are. Like, I mean, look at Earthbound. Earthbound supposed to go to bars, not it's a milk bar. Yeah, sure it is. So, I mean, that kind of thing. Like, I mean, in Chrono Trigger, he's drinking soda pop at the bar, not beer. No, soda pop. You're gonna pour soda pop on his grave.
I mean, that's just I'm assuming that's just a localization thing.
It is.
I believe that in the Wario Land 1, there's like an enemy or you're fighting like some sort of like beer kingdom or something, but they changed it to like soda and shit here in America. Like,
I'm sure they did.
Because of course, America, of course. You pride yourself on beer, but oh no, the kids can't see the word beer in their game. No, God forbid.
That might convert them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like all the signs and everything else in the drinking culture of our country. No, it will be the video game when they fight beer that will convert them.
Or the very present beer commercials in TV stations and shit. No, definitely not.
No, it won't be that. It'll be the video game.
If this game came out today, Sion would be aged up to 21. I guarantee it.
Yes.
And Dominic would be aged up to 18.
I'd be more okay with it then.
Just in the localization. In the localization.
Oh, yeah. Even if in the original Japanese, it would still be the same age.
Yes.
I mean, just the whole idea, like, they're just chilling in a bar, and it gets broken into by a bunch of, like, weird ninjas, and then you're pretty much just running around, catching a train, going to the enemy's corporation that stole her, and then just busting on through and trying to rescue your girlfriend.
Yes. Also, where's the bartender? He's there for one cutscene. Let's learn more about this bartender who's letting all of this happen.
Hey, the bartender is exactly like Sora's mom in Kingdom Hearts 1. She was just talk for one scene, never seen again. Exact same energy.
And again, why have it be Mikado Group? Just have it be Shinra. It would be so much easier.
It would have sold a whole lot better.
Do you know how much context would be given if this really was just Midgar?
God, I mean, this would have sold so much. I mean, this is before that time where Final Fantasy games had sequels or had connections. Otherwise, like, this would have been an FF7 ripoff of some sort. You might have been playing 3 random characters in Midgar, but it would have been Midgar.
Yeah, and as a result, this just seems like weird fan fiction.
And this didn't sell well.
I mean, I am shocked it did not sell well.
Reason.
I mean, this is the quintessential game that looks good until you play it and then you realize what it is.
This game came out before Final Fantasy X, right?
Yes.
Okay. A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 Square games that came before this on PS2 were All Star Pro Wrestling, which is Japanese only, and Driving Emotion Type S,
which I just found out existed and need to play one day.
I love that title.
No
I'd
idea.
love to look into it more. It's a racing game.
Oh, so kind of like Racing Lagoon.
Yes, but more of a Gran Turismo-y.
As long as there's experience points, I'm in.
People say this is the first Squaresoft game for PS2, and I'm not sure how they can even say that because Type S was done by a subsidiary.
Okay, but
I digress.
Wasn't this a launch? This was a launch window, though.
Type S came out first, though.
Oh, okay.
but only in Japan, right?
It also came to America,
Oh, it also okay.
but the pro wrestling game was only Japan.
Oh, okay.
Man, I miss old Squaresoft so much. And then throughout this game, you fight enemies, you fight bosses, lots and lots of bosses. I mean, one of the bosses that you mentioned that you fight twice in this game, which is part of the backstory for Volt, which is his ex-girlfriend, or a kid?
No, the woman that he acts really sexist to for no reason because he's a guard for Mikado, and she becomes a guard for Mikado, and he's like, "What, a woman?"
This game has some issues.
Hey, at least she actually bounced.
Yes, and they make sure that one of the cutscenes.
She is a better bouncer in her role in that game than they are.
She's a better bouncer because hers actually bounce. That's all.
They have a cutscene right where right when she does her finger and you just see her boobs bounce. I'm like, 2001.
I did not even pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Jiggle physics. The beginning.
It's amusing. This game, another thing about this game that I think is so stupid, but I really like, is the whole idea that if you only get this, you read all the story with Sion and you read the computers, you find out that Sion had a girlfriend who died 2 years ago, and he sees her and she turns into a panther, but it's not her. Because she's dead. And it isn't until you beat her, you fight her twice as Sion. It isn't until the very end in one of his endings where she sacrifices herself and he goes, Chaldea? It's like, come on, buddy. You've seen her on a computer. You fought her twice. You've seen her. And you're like, who could this be?
Yes.
Maria.
It really gives off the energy.
It just gives so much Shadow the Hedgehog energy, this fucking game. Like, goddamn.
In the same way that Star Fox Adventures was very much a 2002 game that has so much inspiration in the games that came out around it and also seems to have a lot of connections with games that came later, like Uncharted. This game is a similar effect, but with a very different subset of games. We're talking the Final Fantasy VII, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Adventure 2, Final Fantasy VIII. It's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole like story is you're chasing after your girlfriend that they stole. You get into a freaking shuttle to go out in space.
Okay, let's talk about also the fact that they're on a train, just like in Midgar, but this train has a bomb on it.
Just like in Midgar.
I
But
don't
it's not
think
really
that
a bomb. But
it's not really a bomb. It's more like fuel.
It's gonna crash.
It's gonna crash. There's
Yeah,
there's rocket fuel.
Yeah, it's rocket fuel and it's gonna crash, and that's why it's
I will give the game credit because one thing I do love is invisible timers, where you just have you have context as to like, hey, the train is going to crash. We need to do something, and it's just like, okay, you have 10 seconds to do something. It's stupid what you have to do, but I do like the idea of like it just gives you 10 seconds. That's it. It doesn't give you a timer. You just know the train's going to crash.
Yeah, it's just as stupid as goddamn boss battles that you're supposed to lose, but yet they let you goddamn fight them for like 20 minutes before, they beat you. That's what's supposed to happen. Fuck them.
And I remember as a kid, my buddy who introduced me to this game, he was a big fan of Volt because he liked wrestling, and Volt has more wrestling moves as you upgrade them.
Oh yeah, Volt is very King from Tekken.
Yeah.
Actually, each of these characters have their like fighting styles are kind of like Tekken characters. Like Kuo is like I was gonna say Hurong. I think it's his name. The redhead dude.
Yeah, it's Hurong.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Tekken 3 because that's the same guy who introduced me to this game was a big Tekken fan, so I played tons of Tekken 3 back then. So
yeah. And Volt is kind of like a mix between King and Paul, I guess.
Okay. I didn't play as Volt at all. I wasn't going to. I had him back in the day, but I don't care for him. I had no interest in his story.
Volt was pretty powerful.
He is,
but he's slow.
Yeah.
I don't
I was able to use that effectively.
I don't like that in my games.
No, I prefer speed over strength, honestly.
I do beat 'em ups also. I usually try to go for the medium character. I think maybe Ko is the medium and Sion's the fast. I don't know.
Sion's the Mario of the game.
Okay.
Yes. Up until the point where he says, "It's me, a Sion."
He's meant to be or I guess you want to go like the Ken Ryu as well. Just guy normal.
Mm-hmm.
Volt's the power guy. I think Ko is like the speedy guy.
Okay, I like Ko. Also, I think Ko is voiced by Steve Blum.
No. Sure. Whatever. No, I don't think so.
None of the characters are Steve Blum. While I was streaming it, John was like, "Oh, that's Steve Blum," and then when we saw the credits, no Steve Blum.
No, okay, because I was watching a video and he said it was Steve Blum, so I was like, "Oh, okay."
Maybe they all had fake names because that was definitely a practice. That was a thing back then. Was fake credits. Because it wasn't union.
Okay. Well, maybe it was that. I don't know. Yeah. I just know that I saw the credits and no Steve Blum, so I was like, oh. It's not, I guess.
I was lied to by a YouTube video.
Great value, Steve Blum. Huh.
wish Steve Blum.
I mean, they do have a famous singer for the credits.
They did.
Shanice Wilson.
I don't know who that is.
She was like she had some hits in the 90s.
I also find it's funny that you fight security guards, and I think you fight a bunch of security guards in this game. They're like, man, they must love their job because they keep fighting you. I'm like, well, they don't want to get fired, buddy. Like. I mean, you're criminals. You're breaking into a building and just taking out everybody.
Because there's, as a Dominic myself, I have a little kinship here, but that only runs so far when Dominique is just in the clutches of what's supposed to be her brother, Duragon
C. Mikado.
Yeah, Duragon C. Mikado. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm down for some wacky, story and like some theming names, but I feel like this one literally was just let's throw shit at the wall and just come up with something.
Oh god, yes.
I really don't want to come off as like, oh, Japan is so wacky, because I'm not about that. Like I try to take things seriously, but this is the game that kind of broke me in terms of like, why Duragon C. Mikado? Why Dominique Cross? Why Chaldea?
Is Walt Kruger the most normal name in this fucking game?
Yeah.
The Dominic Cross is pretty normal. It's pretty Western, at least.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, isn't there a character named Walt in Metal Gear Solid 3? What's the name of the bad guy? Metal Gear Solid 3, I forget.
Volgan.
Volgan, right? I always forget that it's Volgan. Actually, Volt kind of. Also, okay, quick thing. Why does Volt have those two horns? Is he an Oni?
Oh,
Because he got shot.
Yes, it explains it.
Oh, okay.
He got shot, and the bouncer was like, "Hey, you're gonna need something to fit in and not get noticed for that head wound. So let me give you some horns."
Okay.
It's dumb as hell.
Just like this whole game.
Oh, come on. How can you call a game dumb where one of your characters has a no cactar on his jacket?
That I do like. No escape with the cactars.
No cactuars allowed in this bar. You must be taller than this cactuar to come into this bar.
Again, Final Fantasy VII make much more sense.
And also, why does Sion have because there's one flashback scene where you see Sion before he found the bar. The jacket he's wearing is a symbol of the bar. So even before he worked for the bar and ended up at this bar that Dominic brought him to, he just happened to have a jacket for the bar.
He was always destined to come to the bar. The bar this is actually the afterlife. This is actually, they are all dead, and this is the afterlife, and they are just going through the different phases of the afterlife, and they are always met. The bar is a nexus point in which they all converge to whatever.
So so that's funny. Yes, actually, yes, that's great. I've been too focused on my point for a second here. I'm sorry, because I'm just realizing who the fuck is Sion really? If you look at the story and the characters, Volt makes sense. Volt was a former security guard of Mikado. Mm-hmm. Ko makes sense. Ko's a secret spy guy working for the cops or whatever.
Yes.
Sion is just this dude who somehow dated Chaldea, who got involved with Mikado, and I think was the sister or something. I don't even remember. No, she wasn't the sister, but
she's just somebody who was dying of a disease, and then they took her in to do a surgery on her, experimented on her, and said she was dead. He also was trained by the Master Wong, who's the same guy that trained Duragon, who Volt was a bodyguard to. And
then he finds Dominic, who's supposed to be Duragon's sister / clone of sister. It's the classic Astro Boy thing.
And she's not even a clone. She's a robot. Android.
Like Astro Boy, yes. That's what I meant.
I don't know much about Astro Boy, unfortunately.
I mean, that's just the story of Astro Boy. Guy has kid dies. Guy makes robot version.
Oh, okay. I know the GBA game is supposed to be really good. People always talk.
Oh, yeah. Omega Factor's great.
Okay.
But my point being, who is Sion, though? He's just this guy that somehow keeps getting caught up in all these people that are related to the same company, related to the same things, but he himself is nobody. He's a nobody.
No.
Maybe he's a clone because when his friend died, he took over his clothes.
Maybe.
Hey, nobodies are a part of Kingdom Hearts.
I feel it in there for you.
Oh, I can't wait till we play Kingdom Hearts 2 and we get into nobodies.
Because again, I just can't.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts 2, there is I guess it's the inverse. In Kingdom Hearts 2, there's a reference to this game, and it's that Sion in his sweater, in the bottom part of the sweater, it says Dog Street, and in Kingdom Hearts 2, one of the characters, Pence, in his shirt, it says Dog Street, and I think that what we're establishing is that Pence is going to grow up to be Sion. So you guys are all wrong.
Hey, I'm excited for that.
Also, we need to talk about the logo very briefly.
Sure.
The logo, which has text in it.
Which
you're right.
Which has a full poem. It's the bouncer and a really great logo type. And then there's just also a 4-line poem. Sion, a man haunted by a tragic past. Within him lies strength and kindness, but also great sorrow. All this will change when he meets a girl named Dominique. These are the residents of Dog Street.
I have never knew that was there until last night when I watched a YouTube video that talked about it.
It's so clear. It's just there. It's on everything. It's on the disc. It's on the cover. It's on the start screen.
It's weird as hell.
It is the most context you get for a story, though. Because, realistically, where the fuck is Dog Street? Who the fuck cares? A bar called Fate on Dog Street in Edge is nonsense. And they barely explain it.
This game is nonsense, but I love it.
Again, if this was Midgar, There's so
you
much
do
more
bring up
context.
such a good point. Like, if this game would have been made a few years later, like after Advent Children had come out or when that phase had started,
Yes.
this 100% would have been some kind of FF7 game where you play as Tifa and, like, they're going something to go to Shinra. I mean, somehow they would have connected it.
Yes.
It's just that it came too early before Square had realized, well, hey, we make sequels to our Final Fantasy games. They sell. So
The weird thing is that, if you look at it, it's a bar called Fate. I just played through Chrono Cross, a game that came out like within a year, like about a year of
99.
the bouncer. Yeah, in Japan, 2000 in America. But so the lead time was even shorter in America. But
damn.
there's a concept of fate in that game that is very prominent to the point that, there's a thing in there called Fate. There's a thing in this called Fate. That seems like a callback.
It probably was. I didn't think about that at the time. I haven't thought about Chrono Cross in a while. I don't remember any of it, but I'm gonna change that. Okay.
Yeah.
You made good points though.
And so this game perplexes me on so many different levels. I don't regret playing it at all. I'm gonna.
That makes two of us. That don't.
That makes two of you.
One character.
I'm actually gonna be writing some thoughts on this in a little bit here, but
one character we haven't talked about. We haven't talked about Mugetsu. Mugetsu is one of the guys that kidnaps Dominic.
God.
He's the psycho ninja.
You fight
Baldo?
From
You fight him 3 times in this game, and he just gets more and more crazy as the game progresses. And like he's like, I'm gonna lose my mind, but I'll kill you. And he rips off his like goggles. I'm like, what the fuck? And he has the perfect death because you fight him the 3rd time on an air carrier thing, hovercraft.
Mm-hmm.
You kick him off the hovercraft, and he falls into the fire of a jet.
The jet engines.
Now that was ending at Overblood.
Fucking Overblood.
That was metal as fuck though.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yes, you got Mugetsu, you got Panther Chaldea, you got Duragon, who, there's 4 different forms of Duragon, of course.
Yes, and the first time you fight him, he takes a chain and ties his arm behind his back. He's like, I'll fight you with only one arm, but my Panther girlfriend will fight you too, so you're not having a fair fight, but hey.
And of course, in the survival mode and in the multiplayer, you can play as every form of Duragon.
That's what I also liked about this game, that every character is playable when you have the extra modes.
Yes.
I don't remember much about them. Like, I think they get new abilities I think they get new abilities and they're better stats as you keep upgrading them.
Sure, I'll take your word for it.
You keep playing through the game, you fight them, and each time you fight them, they start to rank up slowly.
God, the hell.
Again, I maxed out this game back in the day. Everybody but Wong was maxed out to S rank because I think I got him to A rank or something. I just got tired of playing the game.
Yeah, I would too.
So it was a different time. I didn't have a job yet, so I didn't buy games like I did. And this was cheap as hell when I bought it, if I remember correctly. I have a copy behind me on the shelf, but
oh, it's on the shelf already. You've made your choice.
Exactly.
Everything's on a shelf unless I own it digitally. But yes. But also another thing I want to mention though, like another boss you fight in this game is a PD4 who looks just like Laguna from FF8. I swear.
Yeah, a bit.
I mean, he's a robot. There's an arm that comes apart and he beats the shit out of you. And I just love that after you beat him and you're like, oh, we did it. All of a sudden, like 5 of them come through the door, and then that's when Dominic wakes up and turns out to an android and just kicks the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still like that cutscene.
She goes full team on Metropolis when Tima goes evil for a minute. No? Anyone?
Nothing.
Mm-mm.
Okay, fine.
You're not gonna get it from me.
Metropolis is a great anime from 2001, about the time this game came out. Worth a watch.
All right.
But
Emanuel, you didn't get to see Duragon in his last form because when you beat the game more than once, Duragon will have a 3rd form in that final fight where he takes off his jacket and he has a really cool dragon tattoo as a kid I wanted on his back.
Wait, didn't he take off his jacket in the?
Yes, but then he had overalls on. Then he takes off his overalls and he has you see his dragon tattoo.
And then in the 4th form, he takes off everything.
Then you're just actually fighting the penis.
Also, Chaldea looks like Renoa from FF8.
Yes. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you.
Yes. Again, this game is just calling back. It is everything mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
Like this should have been what happened to Squall, not Kingdom Hearts.
No.
I mean, anything you guys? Oh, and you also fight robots in this game too. At one point,
Yes.
as you're escaping through the building with Dominic, you fight a bunch of robots. You can just skip everything because I had an ability where I could stun lock them. I just kept hitting them with code. I got tons of experience off them.
I mean, I think that they just get stun locked very easily.
They do when you hit them, but I had fast
Yes.
moves where I could keep hitting them, and I didn't get hit.
Yeah, because
Also-
I just did the triangle
Yes.
kick with Sion, and they were just like and. And I was like, oh, okay.
I think
Yeah, as long
Caldea
as you
plays
go
the
fast.
piano.
Hmm?
I think Caldea plays the piano.
Oh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But just like Sonic Adventure 2, they go to space, kind of. Yes, they do go to space. There's a whole thing about they're on a shuttle and then they go back to Earth whenever. It's kind of like Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, we already mentioned Sonic Adventure 2. Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, they're definitely good signs. Good signs.
Caldea.
Maria.
Yeah, it's accurate. I know, I still love this game, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. You run around and you have cutscenes and you fight people, then you have more cutscenes, then you fight people, then you have more cutscenes, then you
Where's
level up.
that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Yep.
Where the
there
fuck
it
is Dominic Cross?
Oh, so did you do survival mode, Dominic?
I dabbled in it. I did not
Okay.
complete it. I just wanted to test out the characters.
Okay, it's cool that it's there, and there's a versus mode.
Yes.
I actually remember doing the versus mode with people before, fighting them for some reason, like because it was 2001 and I only own so many games. So
You know what's fun? This is totally off topic. In Xenogears, when you can get there's an optional versus mode you can unlock. It's at a point in the game.
in the arena in Keslev,
Yes, but that's like so far into the game. There's very few people who have played it, and I'm just very glad that I was able to get a friend of mine to actually do that with me.
it's sad
But-
how much of that game is in my head.
Yes,
I
Xenogears
love
is great.
Xenogears.
Yes.
Almost on the
Um,
show. So I
yeah.
played it when COVID first started in 2020, but I couldn't convince my co-host at the time to tackle it, and I just didn't put it.
Well, we're doing Chrono Cross down the line, so you did Chrono Trigger already. We're gonna do a mini on Radical Dreamers. Xenogears
gonna
is in that
happen.
lineage,
It's gonna happen. I mean, I'm trying to cover all the most of the Squaresoft games I can get a hold of.
and then at that point we got to do Baten Kaitos and Xenosaga. That's the natural evolution of all that.
I really want to play Baten Kaitos. I have a copy to my left of me that I've never played.
It is fucking hard, in my opinion. That's my only concern. I literally do not know if I can beat it.
Save states, right, Mike?
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
Mike can beat it. Me on the GameCube though, I'll have to have a full save file of just every fucking every save point.
Again, I cheat everything.
Anyway, yes.
Any
Space.
last things you guys
Chaldea.
want to say about it?
After you fight Duragon SC Mikado for the third time, depending on which route you've taken in the game, you can unlock a couple alternate fights in the end. There's one where Ko fights as superior
Oh yeah, Leanne.
Leanne, and then the other one where Sion fights as Master Wong.
And unfortunately, Volt doesn't have anyone he fights.
I mean, we already fought Echidna twice.
I know, but I thought they're because you get these special fights at the end. Do you think Volt would have had a fight too? But I guess they didn't care. Have another fight with Echidna or something.
I think I was reading that these are meant to be entirely different characters at some point too. So it's I don't know how much of this survived, how much of this got changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty simple, basic. It's meant to be an action movie. The tagline in the back is literally "Play the action movie," and
Which I like that.
It takes an hour and a half to go through, which is perfect for that pacing. It is a weird experiment in game design and how they can make a game short but last a while.
Yeah, which I like. I like this style of game for some reason. I'm not big into usually I like Metal Gear's a lot too, so I guess that's a big part of it. I think should we go to Shelf Stacker Box?
Sure.
All right, and we'll start with a positive note. So I'll go first. I'm going to put this on the shelf. Obviously, I have rose-colored glasses. I really enjoyed this game. I had a great time playing it again. I wanted to play it more for this show, but I just didn't have time for this episode. But I really enjoyed what I played. I had fun going back to it. I got into the cutscenes. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the simple gameplay. But again, it's all nostalgic for me, so that's a big part of it. And I'm so happy we finally covered on the show. So when people mention this game every randomly on Facebook, I can go, hey, we did an episode on that. What about you, Emanuel?
Look, guys, I'm here to be the emotional support tonight. I just came here. I did my part of the assignment, which was play the game, beat the game, and that's it. Because it is very uncharacteristic of me to just not talk too much. as we've established in the past couple episodes that I've been here on the show. But I'm not a beat 'em up guy, to be honest. Like my favorite beat 'em up is River City Girls, and that's like I'd give that game an 8. So that's if that's the high bar for me for beat 'em ups, like, you know, the ones that I don't are gonna be way lower. And yeah, this one's one of those that I played it. I guess I'm glad I played it or streamed it, but I'm never going back to this game ever again. This box is getting buried in the deepest recesses of nothingness, of the world that never was, of the end of the world. I'm throwing it there so that not even Sora or Donald or Goofy can find it.
For the record, this was actually you're the one that started this, because we all did this because you commented somewhere about how you wanted to do a first strike on this.
Yeah, no, so the deal was that someone in the Overblood group posted about this. I think that it was because it was like, you know, one of those RPG site things of like, oh, this game came out on this day, so many years ago or whatever. And I was like, you know, I've never actually played this. I should probably do a first strike of it. And Mike was like, hey, we should do an episode of podcast. So,
you know, Mike, I think I've seen you try to do the bouncer several times over the years.
Oh God, yes. This actually was originally on the show. The first time it was on the show was right in 2020, right before, and I had it on there. I had a guest, one of my previous co-hosts, Mike, and it was still when the first two co-hosts were on here, and then they quit the show, so I took it off, and then I put it back on, and I couldn't get, and I took it off again, and I have been trying to get it on for a long time.
Hey, I'm glad that we could at least do it for you. We did this for you, Mike. Now you owe me the
Sly 3.
Yes, you owe me. No, you owe me Spyro. That's what you owe me.
Spyro is actually going to come in the show sooner than later, I think. I'm going to put, well, not that soon, but I'm going to put it on. Just because I should really play the first Spyro again.
Yes.
And what about you, Dominic?
So, like, okay. So there's two answers to this, right? Realistically, am I going to keep this game because it's short and I can replay it easily, and because I like that little bit of gratification from beating a game, even though it's, you know, not really hard in the end of the day? Yes. But also, is this a game I put in the box? Yes.
I get it.
Because, like, I don't know how this was so hard for me last time. But it's not hard. I don't know. It gets hard when you replay it and replay it and replay it. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, you know, when you grow up and things that were hard are not as hard anymore.
Or things that were easy back in the day are not harder.
Okay. All right. And I think that's everything we need to say. And Emanuel, where can people find you at?
Hey, people can find me over on twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart, where I stream a couple times a week. Also on youtube.com/Commander Lionheart. Like I said, I did a full stream of this game. So if you want, you can check it out over on YouTube. I also have a couple different not variety of shows. I mean, I guess technically it is variety, but it's still me sitting down to play some games. It's just different types of games. Indie games, neo games, old games, racing games on games.
I will say, every time I do see your first strike show, I'm surprised at what you haven't played.
Oh,
Me too.
There's a lot of games that I did not grow up playing. Like I've only had PlayStation, but there was also like very limited amount of games that I actually did play in those systems.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts RE Chain of Memories.
No, not that one. The other two, yes. Like what I am going to do, Dominic. I am going to do, or I want to do, a RPG month of First Strike, and I one of the games that I am going to do is Xenosaga.
Okay.
At least the first one.
It is definitely interesting. Yes. Get ready for cutscenes.
It doesn't bother me as long as it's coherent, makes sense, and
super detailed, rich with lore. It's the
Good.
PS2 Mass Effect IMO.
I do like Mass Effect.
I wish the games ended up being as cohesive as Mass Effect in the end, but that's a story for another time about what happened to that series.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, that and the Sunday show, which is mystery movie reactions, where we react to old movies that sometimes I haven't seen, or as of the time of this recording, the movie that we're doing this week is The Phantom Menace. Misa coming for me.
Aside from Jar Jar, that movie's still defensible.
Oh, I kid. I don't mind The Phantom Menace as much as I mind Attack of the Clones. That one's the one that
that was terrible.
And even then, I think that better than Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Rise of Skywalker is just funny because of how bad it is at this point.
Oh, God, it's such a mess.
As I've said the story many times in the show, I saw it in theaters. I cry happy tears. I loved it. I know that when I rewatch it, I will not love it, I'm sure. And I will see all the flaws, and I have not rewatched it, and I will not until I cover it someday.
At least they have the masterpiece that is The Last Jedi.
I hate that movie.
I don't hate it.
It's a good movie.
I hate it.
The Last Jedi is 75% a good movie. 25% is Canto Bite, which can suck it and go to hell.
Canto Bite is a great scene.
Canto Bite is... Look, Canto Bite on its own would have been great. As part of The Last Jedi, no.
If we can have that scene in Empire where they fucking land on that fucking whale for no reason and spend stupid time getting chased around and whatever, then Canto Bite can definitely exist.
Not the same.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
And Dominic,
anyways,
I hate talking about Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I watch those movies because they have cultural currency. Anyway,
where can people find you at?
If you want more of my opinions, look for me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. Otherwise, my podcast, The Sin Waves, is on YouTube. It's a music podcast. Check us out. Overblood Facebook group is another place to find me if you are so inclined.
Yes, and I plug that group almost all the time.
Did you go to any groups for the bouncer? Get any comments?
No, not for. I don't do questions for minis.
I know. I just wanted to see if you do it anyway.
I didn't bother. Plus, if I post too much stuff like that, people get mad at me. So I try to keep it to once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I remember when I got the bouncer in 2002 when I was 20. I love playing as Dominic.
All right, and if you enjoyed this episode, we have over 300 other episodes you need to listen to. So go check out our back catalog. We do games, movies, TV seasons, usually Star Wars, but TV seasons. You can find if you can't find us on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, if they don't go all the way back, everything is on Podbean. So if you're looking for old episode that you've heard mentioned or that you want to see if we did, Podbean has our entire catalog of all 300 plus episodes. So there's other ways to find it if you're having issues. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hellhaster. You can follow her on TikTok. And give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker who did the MCU movies with me, and we covered all the Infinity Saga. You can find him on his own podcast he started, A Gamer Looks at 40. And we have a Patreon. If you want to support the show, only little as $1, you can vote in we have a monthly poll each month, and it's a great way to communicate with me because I will reply to everything people send me on Patreon. And you help decide what episodes will be on the show. Each month I pick 4. I don't know when this will be released exactly, so I don't know what the poll is, so we're not going to say. But definitely go do that. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube with audio only, but you can find us there if you really get your podcast that way. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time.
Yeah, I'm looking for your Patreon. I can't find it.
No, there's a link in the show notes to everything.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Why
anyway, Last Jedi is a great movie. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Don't play double.
Bounce.
The Bouncer.